everybody. My name is Brianna Wunderlin, and I am the host of this beautiful summit, Chalice and the Well, filling your sacred chalice from the eternal well within. And I am so happy to bring you this summit. You're going to be hearing from me in this interview, but there are 24 other beautiful interviews to nourish yourself with. And this summit was really created out of the mystery. It arose from the mystery, which I am a big proponent of, that sinking into what is mysterious, right? The unknown. And mysterious kind of gives it a little bit more safety in my mind than maybe saying unknown. But the mystery is really what is not known, right? What we don't know. And when we allow ourselves to open to what we don't know, we then allow wisdom to come in. So really want you to open yourself to hearing this talk, to hearing the other talks from a place of um, humility, from a place of openness, from a place of saying, I'm curious and I don't know. Maybe this will illuminate things inside myself. Really, this is about illuminating your own wisdom. So bringing that wisdom forward that is deep within you, and often listening to other people, listening to different practices can help us embody that wisdom, can help illuminate or turn those light bulbs on. And like I said, this summit came out of the mystery itself. It came out of the primordial waters. If you're into mythology, or you're into how many cultures have conceptualized how creation has emerged, often it emerges from the primal waters. And many of these cultures were devoted to the divine feminine, and many of them were devoted to women bringing that forth. And if you think about a woman's body bringing something forth, women bring life forth through their bodies, but also creation is brought forth as well, right? And our easiest example of that is women giving birth. And the womb space is that similar primordial waters in there, right? Where we gestated, where we got nourishment from being held by our own mothers in their womb, even if we might have had trauma around that, or they might have not held us in the way that we exactly needed. We still were floating in there, receiving those nourishing nutrients that allowed us to grow into that baby fetus and then come out into the world, right? And that can be a traumatic process as well as an enlivening one. Our spirit is coming into our body. It's being born into this new form, this form that's never been created, and this new manifestation of spirit embodied. That is you. So I just want to welcome you, that beautiful spirit embodied that you are coming into creation. And a lot of this talk is going to be about that. We're going to do a meditation exercise later on to welcome you into that cup, into that chalice that is your body, that is your spirit, is the one filling that eternal well, is your spirit filling your chalice, filling this body with its magnificence, right? Enlivening it. That's what brings us alive, is this spirit. And everything really is enlivened by spirit. And once we tap into that consciousness of everything is alive, everything is enlivened by spirit, we are nurtured with a connection that is profound, that is beyond words, that just takes us to a whole other level of beauty and belonging and connection. And that is often what we're really missing in this world, is because we live in a Western mindset that has said, I think, therefore I am, or that the body is not, based on a lot of traditions that have come up. There's a lot of shame around the body and it being a sacred instrument, or that life around us isn't as alive as us. It doesn't have a soul like we do, but everything is created from the same soul, right? The soul of divine that has created all beings, and that connection is there and prevalent. When we call it into existence, when we acknowledge it, when we acknowledge our own spirit in our own body, and that whole spirit enlivening all of existence, we start filling our chalice, right? Because it's just that acknowledgement of connection that brings us forward into our own bodies. And we might not have gotten that in our own birth process. And so we're going to do a meditation around that a little bit into this talk. And So I welcome you, to listen to these talks in any way that feels nourishing to you, to lay down. Almost all of them have a practice element to them, to sit up, to move your body, to do what is nourishing. I want this to be an invitation into what is nourishment, right? And often, even in the moment when I'm saying that word nourishment, for some reason, I'm closing down to it, which is really interesting. I'm wondering what I'm connecting to right now. So, yeah, I want you to stay embodied in your own body and only open up to that which nourishes you. I don't want these to be something that you consume that, isn't nourishing, that you feel need to listen to the whole thing or whatever. Um, However, the practices are usually at the end. And for me, those are the most nourishing part, which is why I asked all the presenters to include them, right? Because it is about in being in the practice together, the practice of acknowledging our full selves and acknowledging and welcoming ourselves. So welcome to this talk. I talked a little bit already about spirit and body and how this talk came from the mystery. I don't even think I finished that thought. So we'll go back to that. So, coming from those primordial waters. So, a deity at my altar, I have a practice of an altar and also connecting to different divine sources. And those divine sources, some people might call them in psychological terms archetypes, but they're really beings just like us that have potentially a greater influence spiritually than we might. Even though I don't want to diminish our spiritual influence, because your spiritual influence is also has the capacity to be infinite, because you are a soul and you're connected to divine, just like all of these different influences. They just help remind us to be connected to our divinity, right? And so through that altar practice, this title came into my mind mysteriously, Chalice in the Well. And I had no idea what it meant. I was like, what does that mean? I feel like I probably immediately thought, and I started researching online, the Chalice in the Well, or the Chalice Well, which is in Glastonbury, which is a beautiful place. And we have a journey to that place in this summit as well. But for me, that chalice in the well is really the emergence of your own body and the nourishment of your own body from those primordial waters, from that essence, you could say, that encompasses and has enlivened all of this to exist, and tapping into that in different ways. And so we're going to tap into that in a variety of ways in this summit. And in this talk, we are going to tap into it through our bodies as that vehicle, right? Because I'm talking about nourishing your own body. There's so many ways that we are undernourished in this society, in many Western societies. And we need to be nourished on all levels: our mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, right? So physically, we need to be getting nutrients that we need. We're often not getting that because we have depleted soil nutrients, right? So the environment and the earth are directly tied to our nourishment, and our connection to the environment and the earth is directly tied to our nourishment as well. And that's another purpose of this summit, is to realize that direct tie. Many of you who are watching probably already believe the earth is alive and that these are true, right? That this is true, that nourishment is tied to our own nourishment, which we could see in the depletion of minerals in the soil, and then those minerals not getting into our bodies as they would normally have gotten through our own food sources. So just on a physical level, right? You need to nourish your body with good foods, with foods that your body says it wants to eat. So taking the consciousness of your body into account, that your body has a consciousness of its own and it has a voice and it wants to tell you what it needs. All we have to do is make the space to listen to that, right? And it wants to tell you what it needs in terms of food. It wants to tell you what it needs in terms of exercise, in terms of getting out in the sunlight, right? We need the sun to grow as well, to be connected to life, to be connected to nature, to be connected to our biosphere. And that nourishes us on a physical level. It also nourishes us on emotional, mental, psychological levels. So they're all connected. None of them are apart from each other, right? Getting those vitamins, nutrients, what we need, that is directly connected to feeding our embodied soul in this lifetime as well. So if we're more on the spiritual level, paying more attention to spiritual nutrients versus physical nutrients, we create an imbalance, just as if we're more focused on physical nutrients versus spiritual nutrients, we're creating an imbalance there as well, right? And to have this container, this sacred chalice, this holy place, we need to be in reverence and in holy communion with this whole space as this beautiful, embodied, juicy place of living where our spirit can reside, and it already resides, but where we can feel enlivened from the inside out just by knowing that it's a holy place, right? And that we are taking care of it from that place of holiness. And so just as our physical, spiritual, mental, they all affect each other, we need good thoughts as well, right? And I don't mean spiritually bypassing with good thoughts, right? The one thing we need is a witness consciousness as well in our, which helps with our mind. So intuition is linked to that witnessing consciousness where we can witness our thoughts, where we're not tied up in our thoughts, which meditation is often an antidote for that, teaching us about that witnessing consciousness, that consciousness that isn't like, oh, I'm this thought, I'm that thought, I'm that, I'm this thought, I'm this, giving driven by the mind, which happens very rampantly in our world, which is often very driven by fear. We have a lot of fear in the atmosphere, a lot of fear that drives many of our thoughts. So coming back to that thought of those thoughts that nourish us, which our body is a holy place. That's a thought that nourishes our body, right? And then finding the places where we don't feel like that has been true, where we have planted beliefs, probably due to pain and past experiences that have taught us, potentially from our parents, that this body isn't a holy place. We need to come to realize those places, right? We need to meet, those consciousnesses need to meet. And that is another way that we, fill our well and repair it, So there are ways that this body, spirit, embodiment, it needs to be nourished, it needs to be regenerated or having repaired through nourishment, through nourishing thoughts, nourishing actions, nourishing consumption, nourishing meditation, nourishing earth. We need to nourish, and then that creates regeneration in ourselves, repair, right? And then that creates energy in ourselves so that we can live a life that is vibrant, that is wanting to get up in the morning and live the day, that is empowered from our purpose, and that really carries us through life in a way that brings us joy. And joy, I don't mean just joy like happiness. I mean joy as well as an acceptance of all the parts of ourselves that arise to be seen and met, to acknowledge the wholeness of ourselves. If we are in touch with those primordial waters, those essence places, we are bringing that essence to ourself that is nourishing and seeing all these parts of ourselves. And it knows the place where all those parts can function in its most alive wholeness. And so tapping into that background consciousness that brings all of creation to arise, that part has a natural way in which it works best, just like your body has a natural mechanical ways in which it functions best, right? Which nutrients help function it best. Some of that is about culture and DNA and ancestry and all this, adaptation over time. And some of it is just for you in this present moment, right? So we're having that past and present meet in alignment in this moment as well. This is also about time being in this present moment that encompasses the wholeness of our past and our future as well. And being in the present moment is one of the best ways to nourish ourselves, to regenerate, because in that present moment is that wisdom, is us following our wisdom in the moment, right? And letting that wisdom arise, and being in the present time means we're not being pulled by past or future. It doesn't mean we don't acknowledge them and we can't bring them to this moment and the wisdom that they provide in this moment. But we are sitting firmly in this moment, grounded, right? We're not being pulled by the past or the future. So if you think about the sacred cross, or you might think about the sacred ankh, Yeah, we are meeting at this heart space in the center where where the spirit and body, you might think heaven and earth, future and past all come together to sit in this heart space to nourish ourselves. And the heart is the seat, is one of the connection places and seats of the soul. And so we can, through our own bodies, find that original essence that is manifested through our soul, through our body, right? Right here through our heart. And your heart is such a divine place of affinity, of love for yourself, love for others, everything, right? And so, really being present with our hearts helps us dive into that deep wisdom. And there are many layers to the heart as well. There's a personality layer, there's probably a wounding layer, and there's also that deep heart space. As I'm a reverend in the Church of Natural Grace, we also call it the God of your heart. Yes, that connection to God in your own heart, the God of your heart that gives you wisdom in each moment, that brings your soul fully here, fully present, to be embodied in this incarnation, to be enlivened in this incarnation. So we need all these things to nourish ourselves, right? And once we also be in present time, right, we can acknowledge those emotions that are arising, and thoughts and emotions are often entangled together, our experiences and emotions. Emotions just need the ability to move through. They are like the wind, they are like waves, and they need to be witnessed, to allow themselves to move, right? And they might be from the past, that they were repressed, they weren't allowed to move through our systems. They need that ability, that freedom of energy to move. And that is another way that we nourish ourselves and then regenerate ourselves and then provide energy. Because think about all those emotions that we might have repressed, that we might have living in different places that haven't had their full ability to move forward. Those places, right, are places of stagnation, are places where new energy, new nutrients, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, cannot flow through because they are blocked in place, right? And we need to open them up and allow them to move through, right? Like, I'm going to compare it to an infection in the moment, but I don't mean that in a negative way. In order to clean an infection, you often have to open up the area where that is infected and take out the infection and somehow, or treat it, so that it does not go inward. And like a lot of, I would say a lot of us, a lot of Western society is plagued by and sick with, we talk about mental health, right? It's one of the biggest, um, it is a pandemic in itself that is unacknowledged. And it is often about not really feeling those emotions and letting them be free of their own expression. And there are healthy ways to do that as well. To make, and all of that has to do with your container. If your container, the container that you provide yourself, right, that has to do with your witnessing consciousness, is part of that containment of yourself, your ability to hold the bigness of you. You have to get as big as you. And often we try to hide and be small, but we're not. And that creates, again, stagnation, repression, and like, basically holding all these things that are trapped, that are energy moving, that want to release. Okay. And so releasing them opens up those places, opens up the body. And we then have places to put new nourishment, new energy, present time energy that is nourishing for you in this moment. And the spiritual needs that we have as well, right? We have this need to acknowledge the spiritual, to be in connection with divine. That is a basic, I'm going to say that's a basic human need. Even if that is a nature-based need, like we don't have to conceptualize it as divine holy reverence in temples and churches. It is, nature can be your church. It just means that you are connected to something that is larger than yourself, which is the whole of the cosmos, which you actually are connected to right now in this moment. And you're never not connected to it. You are always connected to it. And that is often what we forget when we get into states of closed offness, states where we are stuck in a certain energy and we forget that we are connected to the whole of everything, right? And that whole of everything, when we connect to that and we have that connection present in our bodies, in our minds, in our consciousness, in our emotions, then we become that well. We become that well of eternity. Yeah. And then we are that well for other people to connect to be this spring, this fountain of everlasting youth on the planet. We become that. So juicy. And there are so many ways to tap into that. And so listening to many of these interviews can help you tap into that, or just finding your own sources, which I'm sure you have, or else you probably wouldn't be listening to this, but to be open to more of them. Right. So I'm feeling we can go into a practice now. And the practice is really about welcoming a few energies. And that I've talked about, we need these different energies to nourish ourselves, to regenerate, and then to provide energy, right? And the regeneration phase often has to do with rest. It has to do with you absorbing what you have ingested. So ingesting, I don't just mean physically, I mean what you have ingested emotionally from others. Hopefully not too much, but most of us, many people watching this are probably empaths, or, and we're all feeling each other's emotions, and we're all unaware often of how we affect each other. So, right, you need to take that space, take that spaciousness, to integrate or process, just like you process food. You need to take what nutrients you can from interactions and throw out the rest, right? All of us go to the bathroom, we all release physically what we don't need. And so we need to release physically, we need to release emotionally and energetically what we don't need also. And we often hold on to those things. So this is about also releasing what you don't need emotionally that you have picked up over your lifetime, those beliefs as well. Beliefs, emotions, all of these things that you're carrying around that you don't really need anymore, that you have actually moved past. And then again, letting go of that stagnation, right? When we release, we let go of that stagnation. I do that in meditation. I release so much in meditation. I have active meditation forms that I do that with, that are about clairvoyant, seeing the different patterns and everything. I have physical, somatic ways I release things in my body. I have passive, meditative ways I release things in my body, and also actions that I take to help myself release, by the aid of beautiful practitioners in my life, like acupuncturists or massage therapists or other people who might just hold me, in my emotional release as well, right? So we need that. We need that. And once we release, we can fill up again. And we're going to do that in this next meditation that I'm going to do with you. And when we fill up, then we are full up with a new energy, with new vibrant energy that we have brought into our bodies. Sunlight can be that energy. We are going to use the energies of earth and cosmic in this meditation, this amazing earth source well, and this amazing cosmic well, eternal well that can fill us. Yeah. So we are also going to use the energies of welcoming and gratitude, as those are not just words, they're not just feelings, sensations, they are all of those things, and they are also an energy, tangible energy, right? And when we invoke them and bring those energies into presence with our bodies, with our minds, with our spirits, we fill up with them as well. And they nurture us in a deeper way, this energy of welcome and this energy of gratitude. It nourishes emotions, mind, physical, mental, all of it. It's all connected. So we are going to use those energies. And I'm just going to invite you to do this practice however feels right to you. So just check in for a moment Do you want to keep sitting? Do you want to lay down? I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. You don't have to if you're not comfortable with that. You can keep them open. Maybe you want to turn off the lights. It can be nice to be in a dark space. Maybe you want to get a blanket, have a sip of water, whatever you need. I want you to take care of yourself in this moment. Okay? And so, just going to ask my own spirit to be here beautifully for you all in this meditation that we're going to do together. My own soul to bring this forward. It has been brought to me, and I offer gratitude and thanks to that infinite wisdom that flows through to all those God forms of which we are as well. To this land that's holding us, to the native peoples who lived here and took care of this land, I acknowledge you. Thank you for allowing me to be here as well, as my own spirit, for allowing me to be here. Thank you for allowing you to be here. Like I said, just get cozy, comfy. Feel your body. Just checking in and saying hello, body. Hello to this beautiful place. Sometimes we might not find it beautiful, but it can be good to acknowledge that beauty. Coming into this space of breath, just noticing your breathing. Noticing anything that plays at the edges of your awareness, just welcoming it all here. And we're going to welcome spirit, your own spirit, into your own body fully. So we might envision this as energy or as you, but a filling up of you, of your own spirit, filling you up from your toes all the way up your legs, even underneath you, underneath your feet, all around your body, filling up your legs, your torso, your shoulders, your head and neck, all the space around you. Welcoming that spirit in, your own spirit. Just noticing if that feels different than it did before. Noticing if you can have your consciousness all the way 360 degrees around you, below you, above you, and all around in a circle. This is your spirit space, your space that spirit resides and gives and enlivens your own body. Just welcoming that spirit space here, your spirit space, to nourish and give aliveness, interweaving with your whole body, providing that companionship and nourishing and belonging, attention and love. We are going to welcome that spirit all the way down to the tips of our big toes. Welcoming your spirit, saying gratitude for filling up these big toes, wherever they are, And no need to be effortful about this, just acknowledging, envisioning, imagining your own spirit filling up your big toe, seeing if that feels different from the rest of your foot now that we've acknowledged it and brought it to awareness. We're going to acknowledge and welcome your spirit into your second toe of both feet, filling that second toe with your own spirit and body. Welcoming it, welcoming your body. Thank you so much. We're going to do your middle toe, welcoming both middle toes, beauty and spirit, enveloping, folding, moving within them, and spreading out to the fourth and pinky toes, feeling that spirit fill up your toes and the whole sole of your foot against whatever point of contact or feeling the air, your clothes, that spirit filling, welcoming into the sole of your foot and wrapping and nourishing into the rest of your foot, those bones that connect to your toes, all the ligaments, muscles, and blood. Spirit, your own spirit, enlivening those beautiful feet, your heels, all the way up to your ankles, the insides of your ankles, the outsides of your ankles, moving in all those little bones and blood and nerves, filling up both feet, your ankles, and your ankles. Welcome, 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 feet and ankles. Maybe smiling, allowing yourself to smile into them. Welcoming that spirit into your calves, into the fronts of your lower legs, to your bones and muscles of your calves and lower legs. And just noticing if you feel a filling sensation or what you feel. Welcoming and giving gratitude for those lower legs and feet. And overflowing into your knees. Welcoming spirit, your spirit into your knees. Really to enliven each aspect of your knee. The patella, which is the front of your knee, the back of your knee, all those ligaments and joints. Into your thighs, your own spirit, welcome and gratitude into both thighs, enlivening your whole femur bones, the muscles below and above. And in such a beautiful way, that spirit just wants to fill up your whole bottom, all of your pelvic bowl, your genitals, whether you be male or female, letting that spirit touch all those places, filling and enlivening. Noticing what sensations are there, welcoming your genitals. Often we don't welcome them, welcoming them. Hello, thank you for being here. This beautiful part of myself that's linked to creation, creating. This beautiful base of our bodies. Filling ourselves with our own spirit here. Filling up the whole pelvic bowl, all of your organs as well there. Your colon, your bladder, your womb space if you're a woman, testicles if you're a man, as well as ovaries if you're a woman, your penis if you're a man, your vulva and vagina if you're a woman. filling into those amazing pelvic bones that are there, to that base of your spine, your tailbone, which has very ancient origins of evolution, feeling that tailbone and that rooted downness towards the earth, acknowledging and welcoming all of those organs, all of those parts of yourself, also any emotions that might be here that need love and attention and to be seen and released. Acknowledging and loving. Bringing this space to the front of our abdomen. So acknowledging our intestines that are there, our abdominal walls, our blood and skin, and everything holding that amazing part of our bodies, enlivening, bringing our spirit to attention in those places as well, nourishing, asking our spirit to nourish those places where we actually sort out nourishment through those intestines. Asking our spirit to help us sort out that nourishment and have good elimination of what we don't need as well. Emotionally, physically, energetically, all the ways. And letting that spirit fill our lower spine, back of our body. Filling ourselves up with our own self, with our own divinity. Welcoming it. Welcoming those parts of ourselves. Welcoming our spleen and gallbladder and all the organs that are there as well, coming into our mid torso, a little bit up our abdominal wall, the center of our body, also our belly button, where we receive nutrients from our mother. In the womb. Bringing that spirit and acknowledgement into the sides of our bodies as they curve from our hips into the lower rib cage, into our mid spine as well. And that upper place, that place of the base of our sternum, 360 degrees all the way around. Our spirit is enveloping, enlivening, moisturizing, moving into our bodies, into our spine, all the way to the base of our neck. That spinal column that sends information to our whole body. Just acknowledging and letting your spirit really come into that information system. It's already there, but acknowledge and welcoming it there as well. Welcoming your rib cage, this amazing place of protection and movement, encasing our lungs, welcoming our lungs and spirit into our lungs through our breath, acknowledging our breath and the nutrients it brings to our whole body. Thank you. Breath. Welcoming our heart space. Just for a moment, noticing, you can notice your heart. Maybe you notice your heartbeat. And welcoming your heart space, welcoming your soul through your heart to enliven your whole body. Just welcoming whatever wisdom and guidance it brings. And welcoming your spirit into your clavicles and shoulders, your shoulder blades on the back, and all the muscles and tendons, your breasts, man or woman, your nipples, acknowledging your whole chest area, its connection to your neck, holding your head, your shoulders. No need to hold up any burdens with your shoulders, just allowing them to relax and rest and be welcomed in your own love and spirit. And like a waterfall, your spirit cascades down your arms, filling into each fingertip, your wrists, fingers, palms of your hands, these mechanisms, vehicles of creation. Thanking and acknowledging your hands and all they do for you, and your spirit enlivening that process. And thanking and acknowledging your front of your neck, your esophagus as well, vocal cords that make it so that you can project air and in certain ways and patterns that create sound. Thanking yourself for that ability to express through your voice, and your spirit to express through your voice as well as your body, all its needs. Thanking that place of expression in the world that helps bring us through, helps bring us present and in relationship with this world and all its different parts. Thanking your chin, spirit enlivening your chin, and welcoming that mouth, those cheekbones, this amazing tongue, all working together so that you can bring in nutrients and express what you need. The base of your ears, the base of your skull, your neck broadens out into this skull bones. And these bones protecting your brain, welcoming and bringing spirit into them. This place that houses as well as mind, but also intuition, many different places of connection. Acknowledging your whole scalp and your hair or no hair, your skin, your eyebrows and eyelashes, cheekbones and nose, and the air that moves in and out of your nostrils. Prana, spirit moving through the air. In your spirit, in your eyes, in your third eye, which is your spiritual eye, and also your physical eyes. Seeing so much and giving it a rest in the moment just to be at peace and regenerate with your own welcome, gratitude, and nourishment. Just feeling your spirit cascading through your whole body, glands, organs, blood, nervous system. It's all connected, all enlivening each other. Spirit lives through the body, body lives through the spirit. Welcoming this oneness of yourself, this wholeness, emotions, mind, heart, intuition, sensation, consciousness. I'm saying thank you and welcome. And as we've welcomed our whole body, we're going to say thank you and welcome to the earth beneath our feet. If we're sitting, or under our whole bodies if we're lying. We're going to visualize our feet opening up to that earth energy like a plant's roots opens up. But this is even more subtle than that. Opening up to receive and draw in earth energy from the earth herself in present time with your body's needs, with your spirit body's needs, into your legs. Might feel, does this feel different than my spirit filling me? You might visualize a color of a brown or red or earth tone color, green, flowing into the bottom of your feet, thanking this beautiful earth energy for flowing in present time up your legs, from your feet to your ankles, filling your calves and knees, filling your thighs as well, all around you, your lower body, into your genitals, into your pelvic bowl, to your bottom, filling with earth energy, and just feeling how solid that feels, bringing solidity there, to your abdomen, and feeling your lower body as the solid connected base from which you can move, rest, regenerate. Just noticing how that feels. Feeling earth energy pooling in, nourishing, nourishing, nourishing. And now from the cosmos, we're going to open to a gold energy from above. Just visualize a gold energy that's your highest gold energy and information. And this beautiful gold is just going to cascade while that earth energy is still moving up through your lower body. This beautiful gold energy is going to cascade all through your skull, through the top of your head, through your ears, your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your throat, your back of your neck, your spine, your arms, overflowing your arm bones to the tips of your fingers, through your rib cage, heart, lungs, anywhere that needs this gold. It's just going to overflow, overflow, overflow through your whole body. Through the whole space around you is now glittering with gold energy, all the way down to your abdomen, to your pelvic bowl, meeting with that earth energy. And they're going to mix this beautiful earth and cosmic is going to go down towards the base of your soles of your feet, and just mixing with that earth energy wherever it needs to go. And that earth energy is going to move up through the front of your body, through the back, all the way, mixing with this cosmic energy and regenerating all that needs to, so you have a perfect balance of cosmic and earth, all the way up to your top of your head, water falling even out the crown of your head, all the way around you. So there's this beautiful fountain of earth and cosmic energy in perfect proportion to your needs, flowing throughout your whole body, around the space around you, like a waterfall, all the way falling back to the earth and being reabsorbed through yourself and through the earth. And just keep feeling this waterfall, this gold falling from the cosmos, this earth moving up through the base of your feet, meeting and mixing in your body, everywhere your body needs this nourishment in perfect balance and harmony with your needs. And letting yourself feel that as much as you need to. Just relaxing into it. No effort now, just letting it flow. letting whatever needs to flow out of you or be moved out of you by this energy be moved out, and new nourishment, new energy come into all those places of stagnation, refilling you, nourishing you, bringing you new energy. And just resting in that, resting, effortlessly receiving, welcoming in this safe container that is in perfect balance for whatever you need. Mm. And feeling your breath again in your body, just giving thanks for this whole system that keeps you alive and moving, and in can be in balance and nurtured. Noticing how you feel now versus how you felt at the beginning of this. Probably the two are hard to compare in the moment, but just noticing and naming anything you feel now. Acknowledging your own ability to open up. You opened up to this. You're who brought in these energies. I only spoke them. You're who welcomed and nourished yourself through gratitude. I only spoke them. You are the one who opened and received. You are the chalice, filling yourself from the eternal well of your own spirit. Thank you.